to the king. Strike 3 on the inside.
Oh my goodness. Look at those
See what he comes back with here on the 2-2. Oh, perfectly done.
To the left side, Alvarius comes over right at the railing. Whoa! And makes a great catch. He ended up in the first row. Alvarius ends the game with the defensive jam of the afternoon.
All right, guys, K-Zone Podcast, Episode 4. We're out here in the field in Canada, about to shoot some geese. Here with the buddy Kevin. He lives up here in Alberta. Got the whole crew here. Been here for the last 4 days shooting ducks and geese. It's been quite the trip so far. We got a couple new guys. We got Dustin and Cole, first timers out here.
Wave. Hey guys.
There he is.
First timers on the podcast.
First timers on the podcast too. I don't know if you'd call this a podcast. We're just out here in the field waiting on these geese to get up and fly. But
Spreadcast.
hey, first timer Dustin, what do you think about Canada?
I don't want to duck hunt back home. I only want to duck hunt here.
Cole?
Canada's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna screw up the rest of our season for us because bad hunt here is about the best you're gonna get. Back home. So
Bad hunt here is still better than back
we're sitting
home.
around trying to grind a couple ducks out. You're really gonna be wishing you were hunting here, but
I don't know how we're gonna do 50 dirt birds later. Oh, I guess we're done.
I don't know how we're gonna do a 7-man podcast either, but here we are.
Yeah.
So this morning we shot ducks. Today's our last afternoon. Headed home tomorrow morning. Day 1, we set up in a field. What was it? Was it cut
Right
barley
there.
over there?
about 400 yards that way.
Cut wheat field.
Cut wheat field.
Yeah.
Shot our ducks. Shot quite a few geese. Shot some snows, and then
Fog rolled in.
And that's kind of the story for the first 2 days. Heavy fog. I mean, so heavy that the birds really stopped flying. I don't know. Any input on the first hunt? What do y'all think about that?
I just kind of ask Kev, like, how do you scout them? What makes a good field? Like, how do you pick out where you're gonna go? Just like local knowledge type stuff.
Local
Just kinda
knowledge.
Let them roll.
This year it's a drought up here, so you're finding the water bodies. You find the big water, you're going to find the birds. And honestly, then it's just farmers. Being able to talk to them, being able to get access to the land. Treat them with respect, clean up your mess. Don't leave trash out. And then you got access, not for life, but for a while anyways, right? So
Yeah,
That's
Honestly,
just the total opposite from back home. Because if you go ask a farmer to go shoot some birds on their field, they're going to tell you to go to hell. So
Punch in the road, shut the door.
Or charge you $5,000 to do it.
Kind of like the field we're on right now. Like yesterday,
Yeah.
without saying any names or whatever, we didn't have permission on this side.
Nope.
Had permission on that side, so we kind of had to hunt the field edge. But this guy had a wedding, had his kids in town, didn't want you to hunt.
Yeah.
But like today, everything's kind of back to normal, and
Yeah.
we're out here.
we're out here
right
hunting it
still.
now, so yeah. It's just, you get to know the farmers. And then, like I said, this guy, I've hunted his land for years and years and years, so it's good to keep the communication open with them.
Yeah.
And if they say no, they mean no. Don't abuse it.
Yeah.
They'll be here another day, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at the 400 bird mark.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
400 as of this morning,
7
yeah.
hunts. This will be the 8th if it pans out. But like he was saying, it's an abnormally hot day for this time of year. So he was saying they're just kind of taking it easy. I mean, it's 450 right now, and yesterday we started having action, 3:30 or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not familiar with the weather here, so I'll just kind of let you expand on that part of it.
Basically, when the weather gets, you get a cold front moving in, they'll start moving around a lot earlier than when it's what it is now. Fahrenheit, they're probably looking at 65, 70 right now, something like that.
61.
60 is what I feel.
61?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to sit tight. They have no reason to come feed when it's this warm. They will come eventually, but not early. When it's cold and crappy out, the cold front's moving in, they start thinking with their bellies and not their heads. So the feed wagon comes on, and that's why you get a lot of guys, they get caught being late to the field. So you got nothing much better to do than come out and set up decoys and hurry up and wait. So
That's what we've been doing for a
podcast.
little while.
And do a podcast live.
And
Decoy spread.
spontaneously just decided to rip a podcast with no mics.
yeah.
Kevin's already taken a nap.
Had a little one had finally caught up to me. She's been a grind, boys.
Yeah.
Kevin killed a band this morning.
I did get one band this morning, yeah. And you talk about a grind, but you guys are up here hunting. No offense, but I still got family time and family life to take care of while I'm here as well, right? So
Yep.
it's trying to balance that all out. That's a whole episode in itself. So it definitely definitely wears on a guy. Like I said, a Mario Kart party till 11:30 last night, so and 4:30 wake up call this morning, so it's trying to balance it all. But no, it's been a good season and good to have you guys back up for sure.
How would you compare this year so far to years in the past?
Slow.
Yeah.
Whether we don't have the birds here that we normally do, whether that's from water situation or it hasn't been cold. We maybe had 3 nights of frost so far since the beginning of September. So the water up north isn't locking up. They're not pushing down. So it's just, they'll eventually get here. But whether they go around us, because I know Saskatchewan, they're pounding them right now. But I see guys up by, the one outfitter up north, they're still shooting ducks and specks up that way. So normally by this time, they're just shooting big honkers.
Specks in Arkansas and specks
still up north.
Northern Alberta or further than that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. BZ Nation? You had a pitching lesson earlier today?
Yeah.
Gage?
Yeah. Didn't think I'd be doing any baseball up here this week, but
No baseball-related activities?
it's all right. It's all right. I need to get a little throwing in, so it's all good.
Oh, it's something he'll remember for his life. I know that much. So
I
appreciate
enjoyed
it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We got, it's been since 2019 since we've been here. I think it's been like 5 years, 4 years.
The old COVID whole scenario.
COVID hit and shut the border down. They opened the border last year.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah, we
Tried to throw it together last
Tried to
minute.
throw a Hail Mary in about 5 days and just couldn't make it work.
Yeah, so definitely got back up here this year. I was going to ask something about COVID. Whenever COVID shut the border down, what did you notice about the pressure and?
Oh, it was wonderful for us. No outfitters, no one else in your area. Just go and you can have a field for a week, and no one would touch it. Or right now, it seems there's a lot of pressure up here. There's a lot of guys. Every field's kind of getting hunted, and the birds it's hard to pattern them right now.
No.
What's in the field for one day, they'll bounce to another one the next day, and you're chasing your tails. So it's like anyone knows in the waterfowl industry, the scouting's the key.
Yeah.
And
So I guess what do you you left the last couple afternoons to go scout? Like what are you looking for when you go scout to determine like, all right, that's what we want to hunt?
basically numbers, and if their water's too close, like we got the one hunt we did, we were fairly close to the water. I thought we'd have a stern enough wind to blow our shots away, but they definitely heard us shoot because they were pretty gun shy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still able to get, I think it was 34 or 35 that day or something like that. So it definitely still worked, but it should have been much, much better if they would have only been a mile away or so. Guy forgets how loud a shotgun really is and how these birds get tuned into that this late in the season here. So it's something to always keep in mind. And then just, if you can have a field for 2-3 days where no one's touched it, they get comfortable, they get used to coming to that field, and it definitely makes it a lot easier instead of just trying to go in that afternoon when you just found it, because you don't know if they're going to be coming back or not. So
Yeah.
Did they land in that field because they got shot off a different one that morning? You just don't know. So
Yeah.
You always want to try to keep 2 to 3 fields in your back pocket. And like we've been hunting since the beginning of the season, so you have an area that you normally kind of hunt in. You have an idea what's around. And with that being said, it's just luck, honestly. That you're the first one to the field, that you're the first one to call the farmer. And lots of people, like, being that we're local up here, we have the numbers in our phone, we have their cell numbers, we know where they live. And they know you on a personal basis.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps.
It's definitely advantageous for us. I mean, obviously, if we came up here without an outfitter or somebody else, we'd just kind of be screwed. Like we were talking earlier, we didn't even know that we had hunted within the same, mile radius?
Yeah, we've
Couple
hunted the
miles.
same little area pretty heavily this weekend. But like I said, we targeted ducks, and then we targeted snows, and then we targeted darks here. And it's kind of the same flock, but it's not, because they're all feeding in different areas. So it definitely works out, and they definitely don't shy away without having local knowledge. Like I say, outfitters are probably the best way to go. I'm not one, I'm just a local guy, and being able to hunt with you guys is fun. It's always nice reliving through the videos. It's always there, and you guys make a top quality production. So
That's all that guy down there.
Well, I was going to ask you this because I was looking at the blind, but years past we've hunted all layouts.
Yeah.
This year, Asher, if you're watching this, appreciate you sending the high verts up. I've been using 2 of them. So, would you rather go the A-frame route or the layout route? Like, if you had the choice.
they both have their purpose. the A-frame or the high vert way, we've been doing a lot more for snow geese. They, when you run a good enough spread for them, you can pull them. You can pull them off the X, and the hide is vital with snow geese. And the A-frames or the high verts, I mean, you can't get a better hide than them. You hide all the movement, they hide the shadows, they hide the faces. Where you get the big honkers, aka Big Tonys, whatever you want to call them.
Big Tone for us this year.
So with that, they're pretty hard to pull. Their minds are made up where they want to go, and that's where definitely, if you don't have a hide beside it, that's where the laydowns are vital. Still to have in your arsenal. So they both have their advantages, but yeah, we have definitely been using the high verts a lot more, bush lining or tree lining them, and it's been working pretty good for the snow geese and for the cacklers and specks. You do get a decent amount. So yeah.
When does the season start shutting down for you guys, typically?
When it starts freezing up. And that could be anywhere from end of October to middle of November. I mean, November you get some pretty awesome duck hunts up here. November 1st rifle for deer opens up. So everyone kind of gets focused on the whitetail and whatever, the moose, the elk, all that for rifle season, where I'd rather still go kill greenheads, and definitely the pressure gets eased off.
We got a spot for you if you want to come down there and hunt.
No. As much as I'd love to go hunt some cypress trees, when I got 5 miles to drive and I can kill 8 ducks,
Doesn't make sense.
Logically no, but it's the experience, right? So,
That's right.
like you guys have your little farm down there, you can kill all the ducks you want, but it's the experience coming up here with friends and
change of scenery.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
experiencing it, right? Like the first hunt, I think your eyes got opened up to what ducks can do.
No, yeah, absolutely. After knowing we can shoot 8 apiece and to be done in 35 minutes with that 8 apiece, 56 or whatever that number was, it was
52, I think that
And
was.
then just watch groups of hundreds fly
and
by.
just watch them dump in. I mean, that's about as many we see in a season down in South Florida, other than when we come up to Arkansas, obviously. But yeah, to watch that in 30, 40 minutes and then experience it, obviously, the whole time we've been here, it's been absolutely epic.
No, it's been good. So it's always classic having different faces, different newcomers, first timers, whatever you want to call them, and seeing that through their eyes. We get pretty spoiled up here. It's we don't know the trials and tribulations you guys face down there, right? So
yeah. And it's tough. It's tough to explain. Like, you can explain it as many times as you want and like watch videos, but I mean, you and Cole can both attest. It's like you have to see it, and when you actually see it, it's just like it really is mind blowing because you don't see that back home, or definitely not in Florida.
And that's something we've talked about too, because obviously you guys, all 3 of you now, coming down and gator hunting, and then just us coming up to Arkansas, and that was one of the biggest things for us the first time when we did it was, we hunt cattails in big water the whole time. To hunt a blind or whatever it may be and do it in different type of scenarios is something that we do not have. Or for you guys to come down and kill an alligator, or be on a boat, or be on a bank, or whatever it may be, it's just completely different. And just to change up the whole look is just something that's...
Do you like spring snows better than this time of year?
no, it's nice here. Anything
right.
that comes in, and you can get a chance at, right? Where spring snows, you get the specks, you get the ducks still.
You just gotta watch them.
Dancing right in your face, but it's a good time to practice your calling, see what they do. You can always make a pro out of it, right? So, and nice thing in springtime so far, the pressure's a lot less up here. It's just to try to book a trip, they're so hit and miss depending on the spring. So when they get here, due to the amount of snow cover, the ice and the sloughs, if there's no water open, they're not going to be here. So it's, when you live in the backyard of them, it's all right, but try to plan a trip, it'd be very, very difficult to do such a thing. So,
Do you stay local in the spring, or do you like to travel south?
no, we stay local. Usually try to go just around the area that we were in, and we'll go.
Saskatchewan, don't you have family there?
Yeah, I got family in Saskatchewan. I haven't been back there for a few years now, so it grew up by the Quill Lakes out that way. So prime Mecca flyway out there.
I want to know when you started practicing these 80-yard bombs that you just seem to shoot every time we're up here. Like, oh no, no chance that these Kevo raves up and just doom doom. Hopefully Josh got some footage of it, but it's like nothing I've ever seen. Like, these geese are friggin' a mile out there.
They're not
Kevin
that
just
far.
one
When
shot
you
dome.
dump 100 in 2 months, you get pretty
Yeah,
good.
I was about to say, the guys ran through 9 cases in
No,
the last 5 weeks. Guys had more
boxes,
practice than
baby.
we'll get in the last 2 years.
Sorry about the language, but no, it hasn't been that bad. But you just get comfortable. You got to understand the shotgun. It is deadly out to 80 yards. It's just you got to get in front of them. Everyone shoots behind, and you got to get that lead in front, and they will hit. It's definitely not ethical to shoot past 50. I'm not going to deny that fact, but there's sometimes you think they're a lot closer than they are.
True statement.
Well, and with the wind that we've had too, like the last 2 days, it's the first few that you shoot. As soon as they're like, we're not, like, to hell with this, we're getting shot at, they're 40 yards back within a second.
With that heavy wind, yeah.
I wouldn't even say to hell with us, we're getting shot at. As soon as 7 guys pop up out of the grass, they make a light pitch and they're 15 yards behind where we called a shot.
Yeah, it's, it just becomes like riding a bicycle, the shotgun. If you keep using it, and when we spring snows to fall season, lots of guys always complain they don't have a bead on their front or anything like that. It just becomes second hand. You don't even look down the barrel.
Point and shoot.
It's get your gun to fit you and get to know your shells, and switching shells every now and then does not help the situation, different speeds and vice versa. But that, we were shooting that migrant today or this weekend, and it definitely, that stack load was killing them out there. So
yeah, I guess that brings up a good point. Like, what's your shot of choice as far as, I know, like the migra shells, but
yeah, number 2 is so versatile up here. I mean, later in the season here, when you start shooting the bigger honkers and more fat, more feathers, BB definitely comes into play. And other than that, number 2, and for snows, I love number 3 shot for snow geese. If they're doing it right, it don't make a difference.
Yeah.
So,
when did you start hunting? First, let's just go back. So, where'd you grow up? Like, where are you from? Like, how long ago did you start hunting and all that?
Grew up around that Quill Lake area, Quill Lake Flyway area there, and in central Saskatchewan. Been hunting my whole life and was introduced to it from my dad at a young age. And waterfowl never really started till I was about 12, right around that hunter safety time for us in Saskatchewan. And with that being said, my dad never waterfowl hunted. No one in my family really did. My grandpa did a bit every now and then, and so got some friends, and I was fortunate enough that they'd come pick me up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and swing by the farm and grab me, and we'd go out shooting geese with their decoys, and slowly started building the spread myself and learning from them and learning a few tips and tricks, and yeah, it just developed into a passion now.
And you've been doing the whole permission thing your whole life.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, unless you own the farm, there's no hunting leases up here.
It's just all private land. You talk to the landowner and get the permission, and
go ahead.
It's vital to be able to talk to people and, treat them with respect. Don't go to the door, music blaring, some people, that's their nature or whatever, hat backwards, whatever. They're pretty blue collar people up here. They like what they'd like to do, and I'm not saying they're redneck, I'm not saying anything like that. Like, they're good quality people, and they just want to be treated with respect. And that's all you can do, is treat them with respect, and they'll respect you. So it's little things just go a long way, right? Like picking up your garbage and talking nice to them, saying thank you and please, and it all helps. So
yeah,
they don't have to give you permission.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
Yeah. Go ahead, or whatever you were gonna say.
Oh, I was just gonna ask him, because I know, like, back at home we were talking about the farm kind of stuff, and I think one of the guys we hunted, you said he actually farms and owns like 80-something thousand acres, which is like a ridiculous.
Yeah, it's his brother-in-law, but same thing. Yeah, he'd have access to it. Yeah.
I mean, you don't see tracts of land that big that are owned and farmed like by the same operation back home.
Yeah.
I know Cole's fiance, they run a farm there, which is what, 20.
Yes, it's around there, something like
20-something thousand. So just to like comprehend that they run the same like 80,000 is kind of ridiculous. But that, like, knowing those guys, you have an opportunity to hunt a ton of land with permission from just one guy.
One guy, yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, that's not how it is out here. We have some bigger farmers out here, but it's nothing like that. So you have some small farmers and they just have the land by the water. So, I mean, it's just for waterfowl hunting, it doesn't make a difference how much land you own. It's just where it's at, really.
No.
And whether they grow peas or if they're just strictly canola or 2-crop rotation, 4-crop rotation, it just depends what they do. So this year was an early harvest year. It was dry. So I think you can tell by the videos that there's not a piece of crop left standing out here. It's been a weird year that way. Usually by this time, there's still some swaths on the ground, some crop standing. So yeah, with that, I guess where that comes from is right now they have access to every piece of land, the geese. If they're still standing or if there's different types of crop, it limits their ability to go to different places, so you have a better chance of patterning them, where now they can just hop to any field. So
spread out.
yeah.
pretty low water year, kind of a drought year.
Yeah.
Do you notice the hunting is better or worse on drought years? Can you tell?
For geese, it's been pretty good this year because they're all going back to big water.
Yeah.
Where for ducks this year, it's been not a great year for ducks. All the little potholes that they'd roost in, day loaf in, they're not sticking around. So
Might be saving a few for us soon.
Yeah. Save some.
Golly.
Save some.
Good year for us back home, boys.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to ask, so obviously these guys, like you said, farm back in Arkansas. I know Blaine hunts a lot of public, but in Florida, majority of what we do duck hunting wise is just all public.
Yeah.
There is zero permission unless you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to hunt like a lease. Does Canada have like public lands, WMA type?
yeah, you got your ducks on limited land, which is all public access. I think lots of it's walk-in only, stuff like that. Where it does have public lands, and for whitetail, all that, there's public crown land, and people can access that. It's out in this local area. There's really not much for crown land because it's all agriculture, right? And
a lot of open.
a lot of open where you get more of your grazing leases for cattle and stuff for whitetail, and that end of it becomes more of a public. You can have the grazing lease from, I think it's June, or it could be May till November. I think late October you got to have all your cows out of it because November 1st rifle season opens up, and it's just one of those situations, right? So that's kind of how it works around here. So
I think one thing that's probably different, I don't know how much public land y'all have, but a big thing where we hunt at is leases. And I don't know, they probably, the viewers probably heard us talking about it, but y'all can't do leases here in Canada.
not supposed. You can't charge for access.
Yeah.
No.
So it's all permission based. So that's something I didn't know. That's totally different from.
Is that
what we're
is that
accustomed to.
intentional though, to funnel people to the outfitters to make them pay, or is it just something like with the government, the regulations, like they want to know every?
I couldn't tell you what the thought process behind it. I just know that you can't bribe, you can't pay, you can't. So
Can't do any of that.
and I never have, never will. So
Well, it works out good for us.
yeah.
I was gonna say it's kind of beneficial too because it adds to you got to grow a relationship, and everyone's kind of on an equal playing field. Whereas if someone who doesn't have a bunch of money to dump it into a lease, and then the guys who don't have that money to just go and hunt public, you could come here and you could be nice with this guy and say, hey, I really appreciate it, and then bring him some ducks or whatever it is after, and grow a relationship for a lifetime. Whereas if you don't have $10,000 to just drop on his front doorstep, you'd never be able to hunt this.
Yeah, she's an open opportunity up here, right? So it's most of the guys up here, the respect goes a long ways. They don't matter if you're from here, from wherever. Permission is getting harder and harder to get because people are starting to ruin it with different things. But luckily, that's where that relationship status makes a big difference, right? So
Absolutely.
and keeping it, not abusing it.
Kind of like us, the way we met you starting off was through relationships. Had some buddies back home. Drew asked us to come home with you. What, in 2018?
It was
18 was the
2018.
first year.
18 was
And if
first.
we would have had to pay, like we were still, just fresh. Like we wouldn't have had the money. This would have never happened if it cost a ton of money.
We probably still would have never hunted Canada if
No.
it wasn't for that one invite we had, and just kind of that bridging that relationship with you.
Yep.
And honestly, what was kind of crazy was we did that the next year, and we went back and we, kind of did the same deal. But like it's been 4 years. We hadn't seen you in 4 years. Communication's been fine, but we haven't seen you, haven't hunted, nothing. And then we come back this year and we just pick up where we left off.
Oh, exactly.
Didn't skip a beat.
Didn't skip a beat. I mean, it's
Like I told you guys in the first year, I'd be hunting either way.
Kinda.
So, I mean, I'd be going myself, I'd be going with friends. What's the difference to adding a few more? It's definitely it's just a friend hunt, just going out with buddies and enjoying the time. So it's been good. That's all I can say. It's enjoy your company, hearing different stories, hearing your guys' college stories. And
Picking on Rucker here.
Yeah, picking on her.
I'll say Rucker's kind of been the
Low man on the totem
kind of
pole
been
this
the
week.
punching bag a little bit from. the
yeah,
club
so
over here.
someone's got to take the brunt of it, right? So
Yeah.
Literally.
literally. No, it's
That'd be K-Zone podcast after dark.
Yeah.
We got plenty of
Censored.
stuff that'll never be seen by a public eye.
I sure hope so.
But hey, we'll have it forever, and that's why we.
We got some
Hey.
ducks
Well,
flying
hey,
up
it
in
is
the air.
5:10. We done it for 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
said we freaking
We
give
got-
them hell for the last little bit.
Hey, we got birds flying. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't know how the audio is going to be. Should be solid. We're in the middle of our decoy spread, middle of Canada.
These
So
Oh, those are ducks too.
those are ducks, and they're cupping up.
They're
Oh,
cupping
okay.
up.
I mean,
Oh, man,
they're
really?
just
Come
trying
on.
to do it. That's Kevin's limit right there, and we're taking it away from him.
We're sitting here, and
on the top.
what are we doing?
It would be absolutely awesome that if the camera picked this up.
Oh,
But I don't know.
We
I don't
shot our
know.
duck limit this morning. We shot at 48, but Kevin still has his limit.
I still got mine. I wasn't able to come this morning. I had to help a friend out with a few things.
And so Kevin's kind of rubbing it in like we all like to shoot ducks, and Kevin's the only one that can shoot his ducks now. But
I should only take 8 shells.
do what?
Should only take 8 shells.
8 shells, that's right. All right, well, we're gonna wrap this up. It's 5-something. Birds about to start flying. If you guys want anything else y'all need to add or ask, or got topics?
I mean, other than just saying, I mean, obviously, just a big thank you to
Thank you.
him.
Absolutely.
None of this would ever happen without him. So we appreciate the hospitality and all the hard work you put in for us. It definitely makes it worth the trip.
For sure.
What's the famous words? Can't wait to do it again next year.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get home. We'll
see
get
you
home
next
and
year
start
in
talking
October.
about next year, starting tomorrow.
No, it's been a slice, guys, and hope plane rides home and everyone gets home safe, and that's all we can hope for. And next year's another year, so.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, well, appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe, do that whole deal. Got a bunch of episodes coming out. I think 3 or 4 good episodes from Canada. So you probably see this before those videos come out. But appreciate Kevin. Appreciate all these guys coming up. I mean, it's been a good week. Let's end it on a banger. Hopefully these things start flying. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.